This show is presented by the 323 Network. You can watch all your favorite 323 friends and shows on the 323 Network YouTube channel, follow us on all social media platforms at 323Reid, and support us as we continue to grow at patreon.com/323Reid. That's 323REID. The Super Bowl is here, and it's time to get hyped.
Oh, Joe, that ain't good enough. Come on, Joe. Thank you, baby. Thank you. You making blood come from my damn mouth. That's what I'm talking about, baby. You gotta make blood come to the mouth. You can't just smack me and don't hit me hard. That's bullshit. When you hit a motherfucker, you hit that motherfucker. Let's kick their ass, motherfucker. Kick their ass. Let's go. Yeah.
But do you need a little help translating the universal language known as football?
Pie de Cody Parking. 43 yardas. El snap. Le mete el pie. Distancia, dirección. Le dio el poste. ¡No! ¡Falló! ¡Oh! ¡No, señor! ¡No, señor! ¡No, señor! ¡No, señor! ¡No, señor! ¡No, señor! ¡Los Eagles se van con la victoria! ¡Ay, papá! ¡No, señor! ¡No, señor! ¡Chicago! ¡Chicago!
A game that'll make you go from this.
We're going to kick you in the teeth, all right? And when you punch us back, we're going to smile at you. And when you knock us down, we're going to get up. And on the way up, we're going to bite a kneecap off, all right? And we're going to stand up. And then it's going to take 2 more shots to knock us down, all right? And on the way up, we're going to take your other kneecap, and we're going to get up. And then it's going to take 3 shots to get us down. And when we do, we're going to take another hunk out of you. Before long, we're going to be the last one standing.
To this.
When you see your players give all that they have and you lose that way, it's tough. You know, you don't want that for them. So, but we'll be better for it, you know.
Well, forget analysts like Michael Irvin.
Oh my God, this is what's wrong with today. The young ladies today, they're not learning from mom how to cook. We're losing recipes, and now we're going to lose Peyton Manning's knowledge.
Or the Manning brothers.
Let's go to Peyton. He's going to break down that touchdown. Can't hear shit. Never mind.
When you can have analysis like this. That's where. Go argue with Dylan on the YouTube chats. Shit week, everybody.
Oh, the flag that came up for Dylan.
Yeah. Look, that's what Dylan does. That's all Dylan deserves.
We might actually know where they play.
And the Kelseys. I'm tired of Jason and Travis Kelce blowing up my damn TikTok feed.
I would rather have Zach Wilson.
Oh, Zach got him.
Perfect timing.
Was like, shut up.
How to at the 323.
Shit.
So,
I need to fidget with.
Only on the 323. I'm your host, Reid Murphy, welcoming you to 5 epic days of our best contributors, analysis, and shenanigans, leading you to the big game. 5 days that can only be known as
Super Week.
Yeah. All right, folks, it is another day of Super Week, 4th year of doing this, I think. And funny enough, somehow this always works out. We started when we were doing Super Week to do a Mama Murphy show. Bring her in. We always said inspiration on this show was a lot of highly questionable and Dan Le Batard and Poppy and everything. We have our own Poppy. And brought her in because the Chiefs were in the Super Bowl. And we're like, okay, this will work out once. Everything. We won't have to worry about the Chiefs doing this every year, so you won't have to do Chiefs Homer talk show every season. 3 years later, they're going for a three-peat. So we continue to do the Mama Murphy Kansas City Chiefs hype show. As you can see, it's gotten worse and worse and worse. There's Mahomes on the kitchen fridge right now. Mahomes is everywhere. Mahomes is on her. So, Cynthia Murphy, Mama Murphy, welcome back to the show.
Thank you, son.
For another year of doing this. How do you feel about the Chiefs going for They're going for history. They're going for a three-peat.
Yes.
No NFL team has ever done it. It's hard enough, like we've talked about it before, it's hard enough for these NFL teams to even make it to the Super Bowl year after year after year.
Yes.
Or do it 2 years in a row, let alone do it 3 years in a row and win it 2 years in a row and potentially win it a third year in a row. How do you feel overall about it?
I feel really great about it. I feel like when the Chiefs go to the Super Bowl, they win it. They just.
Except that year they didn't.
Yeah, except the year they didn't. But they have overcome all of that, and I definitely think that this is going to be their third win. And I'm so excited about it. And a lot of people, this year was a lot of controversy with referee calls and whatever, but they're just it doesn't take away from their greatness. I just don't. I think that even if the refs made mistakes on calls, they would have somehow won. I don't think it had anything to do with them winning.
I mean, it was wild because, like, for a time, I think they were the only team that was, not scoring 30 points. They went for a long streak this season where they did not get up to 30 points or past 30 points in a game.
Right.
And they were the only team that had a winning record. The other teams that were doing that and posting up the same stats as them were the Patriots, who were terrible.
Yes.
The Raiders, who are the Raiders. Mm-hmm. Like, it seemed improbable that the Chiefs could have this season, especially because you all didn't have your star receiver that you signed, Hollywood Brown.
Yes.
He's gone right in preseason.
Yes.
Isaiah Pacheco gets hurt
yes.
just about a week or two in because Mahomes does stupid stuff on the sideline trying to make a tackle.
Yes.
You have an aging veteran receiver that you trade for in DeAndre Hopkins, who you can't expect much from. Travis Kelce's fat at the start of the year and on American Horror Story or whatever it was that he was on.
Yes.
Like, all the focus seemed to be completely off of what they're used to.
Right.
Yet somehow, every game, they win.
Yes.
Except for that game in Buffalo, where they played the Bills in the regular season and got trampled there, but somehow it was like they were on that undefeated streak forever.
Yes.
And, I mean, like, you took personal offense all year to people hating on them.
Yes.
To people being sick of them. But you do, like, you understand why people might be exhausted of a team that just continues to win and win and win. And, I'll say they're more fun than the Patriots.
Yes.
They're more fun than that Dynasty Patriots team.
Right.
But, like, they're not, like, I'd like to see the Ravens do this kind of thing.
Right. But the Ravens just have to overcome, not going all the way. Losing in the playoffs is something that they've got to work out. I think that because of Andy Reid, the Chiefs are just able to achieve greatness. Whatever obstacle that they have thrown their way, coaching just helps to bring out the best in whoever they have. Whatever players they have, they may have injured people, but they just work it out, and that's just a sign of a great team. A great coach, everybody is they're really a cohesive team. They work together for a goal, and they're always hungry and waiting for the opportunity to go to the Super Bowl. That I think, and that's their work ethic is great, and that's and if other people are complaining about it, if their team would play better, they would have the same opportunity. They just don't have that magic that the Chiefs have.
Well,
and it makes people hate them.
Is it magic or is it the refs?
I don't think the refs had anything to do with it. Like I said, maybe some of the calls were shaky, but I don't think that determined the outcome of the game. I think that they would have figured out a way to win because they're always up. They're always up for going against adversity. Whatever. So I just don't think that it would have changed the outcome of the game. I really don't.
But you have seen those stats where it shows how much when it comes to flags in those games, how disproportional it is when it comes to the amount of calls that go the Chiefs' way versus that have gone their opponent's way in all these games. And I mean, like you saw, like the Texans, like you're clear of it now. Your team's in the Super Bowl.
Yes.
They're not fighting for that spot anymore.
No.
You can say that wasn't like a helmet-to-helmet thing that happened.
Well, I mean, I don't know what other people saw, but on one of the replays, I did see it. It looked like helmet to helmet to me, and I just don't think that the refs would have called it if it wasn't helmet to helmet.
We're gonna get you like a Homer sound
I
on
mean,
here.
I don't understand what the problem is.
Is that Mahomes is your goal? You used to hate Tom Brady.
Yes.
You used to call him the golden boy.
Yes.
You used to see all the calls that would go his way, including that stupid tuck rule.
Yes.
That happened.
Yes.
Is that not Mahomes now?
No.
You don't think the NFL gets any bias towards their best player?
No. And the Chiefs are a good, clean team. They don't. I mean, they're not going to do anything like deflate footballs and stuff like that. And that's I just don't. I mean, they're good guys. They're likable. They're fun. There's never a dull moment with them on the field.
Love Kareem Hunt.
I don't understand why people.
Kick that lady in the elevator.
I don't understand. Why people are hating on them. Just.
If you were still a Washington fan, if you were still a Commanders fan, would you be annoyed by the Chiefs?
No, I don't think so because they're not in the same division.
If the Bills were doing this, okay, so not the same division or same conference. Let's move. Let's say if this was in the NFC, and who's a lovable Mahomes let's say Washington. If Washington was continuing to do this and had the same trajectory that Kansas City had,
yes.
And was winning all these Super Bowls, would you be annoyed by that continued success team?
If I were still,
or have you ever been
a Commanders?
Yeah, or if you were still a Chiefs, if you were a Chiefs fan, but the Commanders were having the success that the Chiefs had.
Well, to be honest, I wouldn't hate on the Commanders because they.
Well, if it was Dallas.
Dallas. No, not even. I don't think Dallas.
Well, if it was Philly.
Philly, yeah, I would have a problem with. But the Commanders have sort of been an underdog, and I used to be a Commanders fan. Well, they were
we've documented it
under
on the
a
show.
different name, but and I gave up on them because they started to really have some issues with the owner and things like that. And then I one day I watched a Chiefs game, and it was about. I don't know. Was it like
the
seven
same year,
years ago, maybe?
the same year they won the Super Bowl?
And I see because they were in a different division. I wasn't really following their games, but I just fell in love with the Chiefs at that moment. I like the confidence and the poise of Mahomes and. There was something about him. It was like magic watching him on the field. So I was like, okay, it was like a revelation. I need to be a Chiefs fan.
So that's what we'll call it.
It was a revelation.
It was magic. It's not a bandwagon.
Right.
It's a magic carpet of fandom.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
So you hopped on the magic carpet of fandom for the Chiefs.
Because I was looking for a new team, and I didn't.
And you just happened to to find that.
I don't think I'm a bandwagon fan because I didn't
You're
know.
a magic carpet
I
fan.
didn't know how great they were. I just liked the quarterback. I just liked seeing him play. I didn't know that they were going to explode the way they have.
Why couldn't you have been a Bills fan? What's wrong with Josh Allen?
Well,
isn't he the same? He's the same as Mahomes. In fact, he's going to win MVP this year over Mahomes.
It's just like I've never been a Buffalo fan, and I remember the Super Bowls that they did get to, and they choke. I don't know. I just never wanted to. I don't think I would want to be a fan of a team like that, and I get tired of them comparing Josh Allen to Mahomes, and it just makes me dislike the team even more.
What do you ever want to say to Josh Allen?
I just want to say to Josh Allen, you'll never be Patrick Mahomes, never.
Those are nicer words than you use for Purdy.
Yeah.
You were very mean to Brock Purdy last year.
Yeah, and I know. And look, Purdy didn't. He hasn't gotten to the show.
He did get to the show last year.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. Yeah, but he didn't win. So
he didn't do it in the Super
he's
Bowl.
like a one-hit wonder kind of guy.
Okay, so I'll investigate this like Scott would want me to investigate this. So you love Patrick Mahomes.
Yes.
You have an issue with Brock Purdy.
Yes.
You said fuck Purdy last year.
Yeah.
Do you stand by that?
Yes, I stand by that.
Okay. Do you say the same for Josh Allen?
Yes.
Would you like to say it on the record?
Fuck Josh Allen.
Okay, we have that. You said it about Joe Burrow. All right.
Yes.
How about Lamar Jackson?
Well, I happen to like Lamar Jackson.
Okay, we have Lamar Jackson. All right. What about C.J. Stroud?
I like him too.
Okay.
I'd like to see him, one day be one of the greats.
What about Jordan Love?
Jordan Love, I do like.
Okay. Okay. Baker Mayfield.
Baker's okay.
Just okay?
Yeah, just okay. He has his moments.
Okay. Justin Herbert.
Herbert, I used to not like him when he was playing better, but he's kind of fallen off my list,
It's very February that we're investigating. Okay, we'll get back to Scott on that.
Okay.
The Eagles. You guys are playing the Philadelphia Eagles. Your former sexiest player in the NFL, Jalen Hurts.
Yes.
And now they're loaded with Saquon Barkley. They're loaded with the great white hope, Cooper DeJean. Defense is wild. O-line is still wild. A.J. Brown is a crazy wide receiver. Do you have any fear about the Chiefs against the Eagles? Because the Eagles did play them very tight 2 years ago in the Super Bowl.
Right.
And they did not have Saquon Barkley.
Right.
Then.
Yeah.
How do you feel about this matchup?
Well, I have to admit, I am nervous about Saquon Barkley because when he gets the ball, he usually scores. So I'm hoping that their defense, really studies the film and studies Saquon Barkley to the point where he can't do anything. If they guard him right, and keep him from getting opening, I think that's the key to winning the game. And I think Andy Reid and the defensive coordinator, which
Steve Spagnuolo.
Yes, I think that he is going to prepare them to, and I don't think Saquon Barkley is going to get loose. And that's the key to winning that game.
Just stop Saquon.
Yeah, if you contain Saquon, they don't have a game.
Okay. So you don't believe in Jalen Hurts to just take over?
No, I don't. Without his weapon, Saquon Barkley,
Do we like Jalen Hurts, or is it fuck Jalen Hurts?
I respect Jalen Hurts, but not now. I mean, not on Super Bowl day. I'm going to say fuck Jalen Hurts. So
But if they win, does it become a a contained fuck Jalen Hurts because he will beat you guys?
No, it's going to be an out loud.
Okay.
Fuck Jalen Hurts.
And Saquon. And Saquon.
Yes.
And Jalen Carter. Yeah. Okay.
But if they can contain Saquon, they don't have a game because it's all Saquon, and Barkley. And, like I said, if they can keep him bottled up, they're not going to win.
I will be honest. I'm rooting for the Chiefs in this game. And I'm rooting for the Chiefs, and it's not personal that I'm rooting for the Chiefs.
Okay.
If it were personal, I'd be rooting against the Chiefs because you abandoned me with a very shitty, sexually abusive franchise to be a fan of.
Yes.
To go be a fan of the Chiefs.
Uh-huh.
I'm rooting for the Chiefs because I can't have the Eagles win. They got their Super Bowl before, and we watched their fans eat horse poop on the streets and fall off of light poles. One fell off a light pole and died the other day.
Yes.
Because of this.
Yes.
I don't want them to win.
And there was a shooting during their celebration.
Exactly. John McCann, our Philly correspondent, John McCann, was there.
Right. And how do you
witness
go
to
from
it.
your team winning to fighting each other on the street? It's just ridiculous.
So I can't have them win. And the last time that I rooted, hello, Chloe. The last time that I rooted for a team to beat Philly in the Super Bowl, it was for the Patriots. I did not want to root for the Patriots. I was very much against the Patriots in that game.
Yes.
Patriots shit the bed.
Yes.
I cannot have the Chiefs do it. I selfishly want to see the Chiefs make history.
Yes.
I want to see them get the three-peat because we might not ever see it again.
Right.
And like Marshawn Lynch said, that Patrick Mahomes is one of the last players to get his ass whooped by his dad. Everything. That's why he's going to win the Super Bowl.
Yes.
So
he's tough. He's a tough dude.
Do you
he
think
really is.
Do you think players are soft today, or is it like a different kind of softness compared to players of the old days?
I think they are softer than the old players, the guys that didn't make millions of dollars, but they played because they loved the game, and I think today's players are pretty pampered, and they get paid very well for what they do, and they don't have any loyalty. Like, it's all about who's going to give them the big check. They're so quick to bail on, just like Tyreek Hill. He just was so quick to cut loose the Chiefs, and because of money issues. And I don't think he's all that happy where he is
not.
now.
I mean, you see,
so he should have stayed.
You were used to winning every single year, and then you go to a team that hasn't won a playoff game in 24 years.
And look at when he left.
You're immediately feeling the frustration and disappointment of
yes.
that. Yeah. So, I mean, I can agree with that to an extent. I would say that I think that the players today are a little more pampered or a little softer. They would beat the brakes off of the players from the old days, those tough, grizzled dudes.
Right.
Because they're about 2 times their size. And
right.
If you dropped Myles Garrett in the 70s, he would have killed everybody out there. Myles Garrett. If you put Lamar Jackson in the 60s, it would have only... I'm of the opinion if you put Lamar Jackson as a quarterback in the 60s, it would have just furthered racism.
Right.
It just would have made white people even worse and more mad about this.
Yes, I agree. But the old players, played with heart. I remember, those games in the 70s and 80s where,
I mean, you had Lynn Dawson.
Yes.
You also had Lynn Dawson drinking a Fresca and smoking a cigarette at halftime of the Super Bowl.
Right. They weren't in the best physical shape.
They were not.
But they gave us some good games. And of course, the penalties they didn't enforce penalties to protect the quarterback like they do now. And I'm glad that they did change that ruling because, a lot of people got really seriously hurt because of the hits. They weren't, doing anything about, people, getting hit and getting concussions and being paralyzed. And you had teams back then that were just ruthless, like the famous Oakland Raiders, you know. And I've been thinking like, oh, it was just a brutal time, and people enjoyed those hits, which is kind of scary, right? You know, when you think about now what we know about.
Didn't you enjoy it? But didn't you enjoy it at the time?
Yeah, I did because I was so.
You didn't know.
Yeah, I was in the mindset that I didn't know about that much about concussions, and nobody knew anything about CTE. So I never thought about the player having these lasting medical problems later. I think if I had known that, I wouldn't have enjoyed it as much. But everybody was like, the harder people hit, the better. Like Sean Taylor, you know. He was even hitting hard in the Pro Bowl. I mean,
famously destroyed a punter in the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, who does that? You know,
crazy people. People that play the sport. Yeah.
Right, and people were okay with that. And that wasn't that long ago. So yeah, I like the fact that they're doing better to protect the players and the quarterback, of course, most of all.
While we're talking about the all-time stuff, and you brought up like the villainous Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, and you talked, we talked about the different quarterbacks that you hate. Potentially race motivated, but we talk about, I want to talk about, we like doing the top fives with you.
Right.
And this year's top five that we wanted to do was the top 5 players that Mama Murphy has hated all time in the NFL. Not just players, actually, just people in the NFL. It can be coaches, it could be owners, it could be anybody that you hate the most over the top 5 times.
Okay.
So we're going to launch into that. Top 5 most hated people in NFL history, according to Mama Murphy.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
This is the 323's Top 5.
Oh, shit. Here we go again.
Okay.
So we'll start at number 5.
Okay.
We're going to start at the bottom. Do you have any honorable mentions? Was there anybody that didn't make your list?
Well, I started to put Josh Allen on there, but
he didn't make it?
No, he didn't make
Good for
it.
Josh.
Yeah. So he would have been on there.
He's teetering dangeringly close.
Yeah.
If he beats you all in the playoffs, he makes the top 5.
Yeah, he's teetering very close.
All right. On the line. All right. Well, who's number 5?
Okay, I put I guess Lawrence Taylor of the New York Giants as number 5 because I've never forgiven him for ruining, Joe Theismann's career. Even though Joe Theismann wasn't the greatest, he didn't deserve what happened to him. And everybody feared him back then. He was just
still kind of feared him.
Yeah, he was just a big, scary force, And I don't think he's a bad guy in real life. But on the field, he just let all of his aggression out.
Well, I mean, even when that happened, he was one of the first people to recognize it and call for somebody to come over.
Right.
Everything. He didn't intend to end Theismann's career.
I don't think it was intentional for him to break his leg like that, but it was just that he was just this scary force back then, and it made me just dislike him, and then now, I've sort of softened a bit on him because he was very apologetic about it. He did, his reaction to it all, made me think that, it just happened, and Theismann wasn't the greatest, but the team around him made him,
and still,
pretty good.
as a Redskins fan at the time, everything, Lawrence Taylor was somebody you had to face twice a year.
Right.
He's somebody that you don't want to see whatsoever.
And other teams that other teams that had to play him, that they feared him too. He was just this awesome force and all. And I just, so that's why I put him at my top. I put him as number 5.
Okay. It was number 4.
Okay, number 4 is another former Washington player, Albert Hainsworth.
Yeah,
what a waste of football player.
It's a waste of human space.
Yes.
It's just air.
What a fat loser. I mean, he did nothing. He got well paid. I mean, he couldn't even pay his bills, and he was getting paid well. I mean, they had creditors calling his bosses about why he hasn't paid his MasterCard bill. I mean, what a total bust. It was just a total bust. It was just,
I will never forget I don't remember who they were playing. I just remember that specific play where Albert Hainsworth, whatever other team ran the ball against the Skins.
Yes.
And Hainsworth immediately just hit the ground.
Right.
And never got up.
And never got up.
Just sat there and watched.
I remember I was so angry that
$90 million, which was like one of the highest paid players in the NFL.
Right. What? Oh my goodness. It just, hopefully we could just forget about him. But I couldn't help but bring him up.
Yeah, that's fine. All right, number 3.
Okay, number 3, I think, is Deshaun Watson.
That's a good one.
Yeah, and I don't really have to say why, but he, first of all...
Yeah, allegedly.
Allegedly. There's some things about him that I just couldn't believe that a team would take somebody, even if it's alleged, like where there's smoke, there's fire, And maybe some of the women lied, but I don't think that many women would have come forward. And he dodged a bullet because he was never prosecuted. Mm-hmm. But why would Cleveland take him on, pay him like that? And look what he's doing. He wasn't playing worth shit. Then he gets hurt when I think he was glad he got hurt to take him out of his misery. So, yeah, goodbye, Deshaun Watson,
Fuck Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, fuck Deshaun Watson. Yeah.
All right, good. That's a great number 3. Okay, who's number 2?
Okay, I just had, some long soul searching about this, and Aaron Rodgers is my number 2.
Of all time.
Of all time, because why doesn't he retire? He sucks.
Just go away.
He's arrogant. He's all of that.
Arrogant Rodgers.
Yeah, and I mean, his family doesn't even like him, even though I know his family's dysfunctional, but there's got to be a reason why. So, if your family doesn't like you, there's really something wrong with you. That's all I got to say about it.
He always disappointed me because he was, to me, what Patrick Mahomes is currently. When back in his prime with the Packers, he was just like an unstoppable force.
Yes.
At quarterback, and it just kind of fell apart. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it was mentally, spiritually, what it was for him, but just something went away.
He needs to stop trying to be Tom Brady. He's not Tom Brady. He'll never be Tom Brady. Their body doesn't even have the same makeup. He needs to know when to quit. Why one go from being great one minute to being way at the bottom, So, I don't understand him.
I'm assuming Tom Brady didn't make your list at all, right?
No.
So you really turned a corner on Brady. Is it the broadcasting?
I didn't used to like him, but now I see him in a different light that he's not playing. He's not such a bad guy after all. So, that's why I didn't put him on my list.
Yeah. All right. Well, the number 1 most hated person in NFL history, according to Mama Murphy, is
Jack Tatum of the 70s Oakland Raiders.
Whoa.
What a brute. He just took players out left and right, and then Darryl Stingley was paralyzed because of him. He never apologized for it, never. He was just a jerk, an ass, obnoxious, he was just a motherfucker. I'm sorry
Oh my
for
God.
just pardon my language, but I have no love for him. And I know he died in 2010, but may his soul rot in hell.
I had no idea you had a hatred for Jack Tatum.
Oh my goodness. I was back then, in my younger years, I couldn't imagine I thought he was like a spawn from hell at the time, I couldn't believe that he got away. He was a dirty hitter. And you talking about refs looking the other way when it came to him. They did.
So, okay, so you went all players on the list.
Mm-hmm.
I was assuming, because I kept saying people, that the number one most hated for you would have been Dan Snyder.
No.
Does Dan Snyder even eclipse Jack Tatum? Do you hate Jack Tatum more than...
If you had given me a list of 10, Snyder would have definitely
Snyder
been
doesn't
on
even
it.
reach those 5 that were on the list?
No, I think it's because I'm just so over the Commanders, Snyder doesn't bother me as much.
Is Josh Allen more hated to you than Dan Snyder?
No.
Okay, all right.
No,
So
definitely
there's a tier.
not.
Okay,
No, because
all right.
he's the cause of me not being a Commanders fan today, Snyder is, because when I heard about the whole atmosphere of the organization, the whole culture, against women, and the way he systematically ruined the team by trying to buy players, trying to buy a Super Bowl, for instance, Deion Sanders. Why did they get him? He did nothing for Washington. He was just showboating the whole time.
Albert Hainsworth?
Yeah, Albert Hainsworth. And it was all because of Dan Snyder. RG3, he was another bust. Dan Snyder wanted him.
Kirk Cousins was here. He ran Kirk Cousins out.
Yes. So, yeah, he ruined the team. And I'm so thankful that Josh Harris is bringing it back, and I really have a lot of respect for him for that,
But more so, fuck Jack Tatum.
Yes, definitely.
Fuck Jack Tatum. May you rot in hell.
Yes, definitely.
What a revelation.
He also went as far as one time he agreed to do an interview with him and Daryl Stingley, and at the last minute, he backed out of it. He was supposed to apologize, and he didn't show up. And at that point, Daryl Stingley was just through with him, and everybody else was. And, what a
So now I feel like
what a piece of shit,
I feel like we need a descendant of Jack Tatum to make it into the NFL for like a Creed 2 kind of situation where he can take on Derek Stingley.
Yes.
Like the new
right.
Stingley that's in
and
the
I
NFL.
don't know if I don't know if he had any offspring that would,
But if he did, fuck them too.
Yes,
Yeah.
but I can't see them being any better, being any nicer than him.
You pieces of shit, Tatum.
Yeah, yes.
Channing Tatum. Mm-hmm. Fuck Channing Tatum.
And I mean, he made the Pro Bowl, and
Tatum O'Neal.
and they called him the assassin. So that tells you right then he went out for blood. Any player that came up against him, Stingley was just the most extreme case, but he hurt so many other players during games. So yeah,
So any Tatum, fuck them.
Right.
Whether it's their first name, last name, fuck Tatum.
Yes.
And Jax.
Yes.
Let's just get Jax out of here.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, let's close out the show the only way that you can on Super Week. I don't think that it's much of a question, but Mama Murphy, who is winning Super Bowl 59 between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles?
Kansas City Chiefs, all the way.
Heard it there. That's the easiest question of the week.
Yes. That's a no-brainer, you know?
There it is. Well, thank you for being here once again. It's the Mama Murphy Show, folks.
All right.
Only on the 323 Network.
All right. Thanks for having me. And bye, everybody. Go Chiefs.
And fuck Jack Tatum.
Yeah, fuck Jack Tatum.
Yeah, and Channing Tatum.
And Channing Tatum.
Fuck you.